Gargano. I'm a 4-time American Ninja Warrior and also the creator of the Strong Feels Good membership. Today we're gonna go over push-ups. Everyone's always asking me about push-ups, the form of them, how to get stronger with them. So we're gonna go through every single thing that you're gonna need to know today in this video. So definitely make sure you keep watching and stay tuned because there's gonna be a lot more tutorials coming your way. So first things first with the push-up, what does the form even look like? Let's walk through it step by step. Now I'm gonna take you through the classic push-up, and towards the end we'll go over all the different types of push-ups that there also are, because there's different forms that you can do. So for the classic push-up, you're gonna have your shoulders directly over those wrists. You're gonna pop those feet up into your plank position. So my hands are shoulder width apart right now. So take a look at that position right here. My shoulder is directly over the wrist. So it's not leaning too far forward, not leaning too far back. Okay, you might see some people do push-ups like this sometimes, or maybe their push-ups are over here. You wanna make sure that shoulder is directly over that wrist for the push-up that you're doing. So plank form, here, okay? Other thing to think about here when you're in your plank position is your fingertips. Your finger, I know it sounds so wild, but the way you're grabbing onto the floor is important. So you wanna grab on not only just with your palm, you don't want your fingers off the ground, you wanna grab with your palm and your fingers and take those elbows and turn them in. So you kinda wanna take your arms and go like this in a way, like a little grab. I know I think that sounds kind of weird, a little dramatic, but it's fine to take your hands here and just turn them in when you're grabbing the floor. So you are not just like having your hands hang out on the floor, you are turning them in. So everything here in the plank position, right, completely straight, right? While you're here, the other thing to think about is to squeeze those glutes. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. You would literally want to be able to, if I had an above view of this, to be able to see your cheeks go and squeeze on in, okay? So make sure you're squeezing because your core is connected to those glutes and everything is connected. So you want to make sure that you're squeezing not only just, your core, but also your glutes and also your legs. This is not just a upper body movement. You are working all the other parts of your body. So anyways, back to the form, back into the plank, okay? Grabbing onto the finger and with your fingertips, turning those elbows in, squeezing those glutes, okay? Now, when you drop down, this is where the biggest issue happens here. A lot of people think when they do their push-up that their elbows are supposed to flail out here at the side, okay? But I actually want you to think about it like this. Think about it as your elbows coming up and out at a 45-degree angle, okay? Up and out. So you can do this with me right now if you're watching this and you want to try it out at a 45-degree. So when you're pushing up, you have that angle, which is the natural angle of your body wants to go. And if you're out here and you're doing your push-ups like this, it can cause serious irritation to your elbow and your shoulders, and also cause you to like hunch up while you're doing it, okay? We don't want that. So again, thinking step by step with all of this form of the push-up is very, very important. So again, let's walk through this again. So we're into our push-up. Squeeze your glutes. You're gonna grab them with your fingertips. You're gonna turn those elbows in. You're gonna squeeze, 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 squeeze. When you drop down, your elbows are going back at 45 degrees, okay? Your head is staying neutral, and then you're gonna drive on up. When I say head neutral, you wanna pretend like there's a ball between your chin and your chest. That's a neutral head here. If your head's out all the way here, you're gonna cause some neck pain here. If it's too far in, that's also not right either. You want a nice neutral head position. So again, think of yourself holding something in between your chin and your chest, okay? So I'm gonna do a few more of these push-ups so you can kind of see the form here. So let's go down in about 45 degrees. So now that we know the form of the push-up, that's the classic push-up, let's go and think about some ways to get stronger with it and also some regressions, right? What can we do in order to get stronger with our push-up? Because this looks easy right now, but it's not. And again, a lot of times what people do is, you want your body to go up and down in the same motion here, completely flat up and down. You don't want it to be turning into something like this, right? So what can we do in order to make our push-up form better? Now, first thing I want to say that I say to all my clients is put your ego aside, okay? You don't need to do them on your toes to get stronger with them, okay? Don't feel bad about going back. Don't even feel bad about going back to a regression when you are strong enough and you're doing them on your toes. Let's say you're in a workout and you have like a bazillion push-ups that you need to do in it. It's better to do it, higher quality version of it, that's a modified version, than to do a sloppy ass version on the floor. Okay, seriously. I want you to really think about that and put your ego aside with it. So let's go into some regressions so that we can figure out exactly how the best way to do it. Now, I always get questions here. Is it better to do it on my knees? Am I gonna get stronger on my knees? I think yes, you can totally get stronger with your push-ups on your knees, but you have to do them on your knees properly. Okay, so I'm not only gonna show you them on your knees, but I'm also gonna show you them on an incline, which is also a great way to help progress your push-ups. So if you're doing them on an incline, it's the same thing with the form here, except you're gonna do it on, it could be your couch, it could be a chair, it can be, I have a step over here, and then you can slowly start to work your way down for your push-up. But same thing with the form here, your hands are shoulder width apart, you're grabbing onto it, you're squeezing those glutes, you're dropping down, chest down, come back up. You don't necessarily need to go all the way down to the ground with your push-up. You can go right above. When I have my clients test their push-up, we put a book underneath them so they can hit it each time. Lucky for you, if you have big boobs, it's a little bit easier, I guess, but I mean, I don't have that problem. So, so back into it, down and up, okay? So again, making sure when you do it on the incline that you keep the form the entire time. You can either do it here, or maybe you take it and you go a little bit lower, right? Maybe you go into a little lower of an incline when you're doing it. Or let's say you wanna do it on your knees. Let's make sure that we know exactly how to do it on our knees. So you're gonna get into your plank position, okay? First, with your feet up, okay? Then, right from here, you drop your knees exactly where they are, and you lift those toes up, and then you will do your knee push-up right here, okay? Squeezing the glutes still, dropping down everything evenly and coming back up, okay? Very important that you drop it exactly where your plank was before, and you keep your body nice and even. What I see too many times in these kneeling push-ups, and why you're not gonna get progressively better with them, is if you're doing it like this, all right? Because sometimes people just go kind of right into it. Okay, here, you kind of wanna make sure you're in your plank first, drop your knees down, toes up, push up, okay? Elbows are going back at 45 degrees, okay? Another thing that's very helpful with your push-up, you know, what if you're feeling pretty good with it, but it's still feeling a little bit hard, but you know you can do a few on your toes. You can increase your surface area by increasing your feet. So take your feet, make them a little bit wider. That actually makes it a little bit easier here with the push-up, believe it or not. Again, making sure to keep everything nice and even when you're coming up and down. A great way to check to see if you're doing your push-ups right is to video your form. I literally have my clients in my program video their form all the time and send it to us, not only for them to take a look at it, but for us to take a look at it, okay? Because it's really important. Sometimes you don't even realize you're doing it wrong. Sometimes you're doing it and you're like, oh, I'm crushing it. And then you watch a video. It's kind of like if you go out maybe and you feel like you're like an amazing dancer and you had a couple drinks, and then you watch a video of it later, you're like, maybe I wasn't that good. It's kind of like that. Okay, so other things to think about too with your push-up, another great way to modify it is to take a band, put it underneath those elbows, and you actually do the push-up with the band on your elbows, dropping down. The band is gonna help you propel yourself back up. Okay, so this is another great way to work on those push-ups, is by putting a band on. I mean, I guess it slides down to your wrist anyway, so I guess just put it on your wrist. But the band will actually help you pop up a little bit more if you're trying to slowly progress up to your feet. We'll walk through like a whole way in a series of how to actually get your push-up strongers in a bit, but I wanted to make sure we went over those regressions so you know how to do them properly. Another thing that I hear all the time with push-ups is my wrist hurt. My wrist, my wrist, my wrist, my wrist. A few things to think about. When you're doing your push-up, you're taking that wrist and look at that. Extreme bend is happening, right? So if you're not used to that position, it's probably gonna hurt, okay? So make sure that you do a nice wrist warm-up before you do anything. And that may be just like using your hands and circling them around, shaking them out, rocking back and forth. I call this one around town, circling it around town, making sure that your wrists are properly warm before you do this movement, because mobility-wise, it may be what is having that wrist pain cause. And also, another great way, and this is not a permanent fix, this is a quick fix, you can do your push-ups on weights. Now, why does it help to do it on weights? Because it's gonna neutralize the wrist. So the wrist is normally flailed back like this, it's gonna neutralize it and make it straight. Okay, so if you do them on the weights, it will relieve some wrist pain, okay? Also, you can elevate the heel of your hand by folding your yoga mat. So you can fold your yoga mat put the heel, okay, of your hand on the yoga mat. Keep the same positioning here, up and down. That will help with the wrist pain as well. Another thing that people just aren't maybe doing properly is you're just maybe not grabbing onto the floor like we had talked about at the beginning. You're not maybe using your fingers. Make sure you're really using your fingers to grab onto the floor when you're doing this. Okay, cool, so we went over form, right? We went over regressions, we went over what to do if we're having, any wrist pain and things like that. Next two things we're gonna go over is how the hell do I progress this? How do I make this better? Okay, and then also I'm gonna go over some other push-ups that they are out there if you want to do a progression of them, okay? So, let's chat. How do I get your push-ups stronger? Okay, first things first, know it's gonna sound crazy, but you gotta do push-ups, okay? That's number one. Number two, work the hardest part of the push-up, which is the bottom piece of the push-up, okay? So working the bottom piece, maybe not cranking out a bunch of push-ups, working the bottom piece or doing slow push-ups or doing push-ups with a 2-second hold at the bottom, it's gonna help you really increase that strength. And you can totally do them on your knees or do them on the incline, but doing it with that hold at the bottom. So let's chat about what this would look like, right? So let's say you're trying to work on those push-ups. You're gonna see how long you can hold here. Hold, 30 seconds. Drive it on up. Hold. Drive it on up. By working that bottom piece, you're gonna get a lot stronger. And I'm gonna put a little plan here in the blog, so you click over that you can just kind of follow on things to do with your push-ups for the holds and stuff like that. So that's one of the things, is working the hold. Number two is working it really slow and eccentric. I don't know if it's, in a way it's an eccentric, but working really, really slow, negative, slow push-up. What that does is actually gonna help you build those muscles to get that, to get the push-up better. So that would look something like this. Slow. Drive it back up. Slow. So not necessarily, cranking out a million push-ups every day is gonna help to actually hit the push-ups, right? It's gonna be more of those simple things like holding at the hardest point. Making sure you have a nice tight core, a nice tight form. Last thing that's really helpful if you're doing them on your knees, what you can do is you can actually start on your feet and your hands, go completely down, chest right above the floor. Once you're down to the bottom, drop your knees and you push up with your knees down. Okay, so a little progression there. Down, knees, come back up. Okay. Again, I had to put, if you look down below, there's a whole little, I just gave you like a week of things that you can do for your push-ups in order to progress them. Follow it along, see if it's helpful for you so that you can actually finally get the push-ups that you're looking to get. But I'm hoping that these form cues are really helping you, because some people really don't know that. And make sure you are filming your push-up, because that is really a game changer to see if you're actually doing it correctly. So we went over form. Now let's go over different types of push-ups. So here's the deal. What's awesome about the push-up and why I love it so much is you can do work so many different muscle groups with it, right? So regular push-ups, working that chest, working that bicep, working that core, glutes, everything, right? The wide push-up is gonna really work that chest more. So if you take your hands really wide, you're gonna really seriously work that chest a little bit more. If you bring your hands in, okay, super close, tricep push-ups, that's gonna work that tricep more. Okay, for me, those are the easier push-ups because my coach used to have us do like a bazillion of them. So in and out is gonna be more of that. And then we also have different push-ups that you can do, like a plyo push-up where you're powerfully clapping up the top, or a side-to-side push-up. There's so many different ways that you can work your body. And it's so cool is just by taking those hands in and out and changing your hand position is you can work different muscles. So that's why it might seem a little bit harder on one than the other. What do I suggest? I suggest you do a little bit of all of them. Do the regular one, but then do the wider one, do the inside one. It's gonna help you improve that standard push-up so you can finally get them on your toes. And let me tell you, I have so many clients in Strong Feels Good saying, I never thought that I could do push-ups on my toes, but they have. And it's just become from the practicing and things like that. Now, final thing that I wanna leave you with is, okay, two different things. Number one, down at the bottom here, there's gonna be a survey. If you could fill it out and let me know the things that you need help with, go into detail. The more detail you go, the better. Okay, what do you need help with? What are you struggling with? What, whether that be for workouts, nutrition, whatever. Definitely click down below and do that. Last is a push-up test. This is the push-up test we do at my Strong Feels Good members. I have them do how many push-ups they can do in 1 minute. I make them pick one option of the push-ups, either on their knees, it's on the incline, or it's regular. You have to stick with that one the entire time. What you're gonna do is you're gonna put your timer on for 1 full minute. 1 full minute, okay? And if you have I'm just gonna put a dumbbell underneath, put something underneath your chest so you can tap it. Again, lucky for you if you have big boobs because you can just kind of do a quick tap. But hands shoulder width apart. You're gonna put that timer on for 1 minute. Every time you touch the dumbbell, okay, you're gonna count that as 1, okay? If you need to take a break, you cannot come down to your knees if you're doing it on your knees. You have to hold this position. So if you're doing it here on your regular, you do as many as you can do here. If you need to take a break, you're holding here, and then you continue on until a minute is up. Or if you're doing it on your knees, you crank them out, and maybe you need to take a rest, you hold here. So as many as you can do in 1 full minute. I want you to count them and let me know how many that you did. Then do the progressions that I gave you and stay consistent with it. It doesn't just happen overnight, okay? And then retest your push-ups at the end of the week and see how much more you can do. Do make sure when you do this, because again, this is a science experiment when you're doing strength test stuff. Make sure that when you do this, that you're doing it the same exact way you did the first time so you can really see and test your results. And another thing that you can do is also video it. So I hope this tutorial was helpful for you. I put lots of facts and knowledge down below. You can always come back to this as a resource to review your push-up. And never feel, you can always just, again, follow along and do these movements with me. Make sure you're walking through each movement. And I'll do it one more time so you have it. So plank. Okay, grab them with your fingertips. Turn those elbows in, squeeze those glutes. Drop down, elbows go back a 45. Drive back up. If you're doing it on your knees, drop right down here. Lift those toes up, squeeze those glutes, they'll come back. Keep everything even, come back up. Down, come back up. So again, I hope this tutorial was helpful for you. Always come back to it. If you have issues with the push-ups, you can always message me, and make sure you do make sure that you fill out that survey and let us know a little bit more about what you need help with. And yeah, again, my name's Angela Argano, 4-time American Ninja Warrior. I think I know a few things about push-ups, and yeah, I'll see you guys later.